Welcome to Interval Drinks
with your tipsy thespian pals, Chris
and SLP.
Children of Eden.
We're here. We're doing it.
We've arrived, and I know how much you feel passionate about this particular show, SLP.
I absolutely love the show.
And for our listeners, viewers, whatever, we had to stick a more obscure one in there, didn't we? And we've even got an appropriate themed cocktail.
Have we?
I'm calling this one Forbidden Fruit. And if you don't know Children of Eden, thank you so much.
Wow.
If you don't know Children of Eden, you'll know why we've called it this in a moment. This is amazing.
Oh, that's something that I will just... Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, God. That's really strong.
No, it's not.
No, it is.
No, it's not.
Not for you.
It's lovely.
You've got the liver like a prune. You're a seasoned pro at this. Whereas I only ever drink on social occasions.
Well, I'm realising from us having all these different cocktails whenever we do an episode, what my cocktail preference is starting to be, and I really like the fruit ones, I think.
We still
really
like
them.
Stolly.
Oh, no, we haven't. I remember you telling me about that.
I will get that on our list of things to drink.
Amazing.
I promise you all, we will get to Wicked in another podcast.
That will happen. It is on the list, we promise.
But this is one of Stephen Schwartz's lesser-known musicals, but a joyous one. Nonetheless, Schwartz, obviously famous for Wicked.
Yes, of course.
Rags, Children of Eden, which we're going to be discussing today. Now, I adore Pippin. Please, can we have Pippin on our list of things to talk about?
And Baker's Wife
Godspell,
as well.
of course, and The Magic Show.
Yeah.
Working. Are you familiar with Working?
I don't know.
Oh, wow. So I was introduced to Working. We will come to Children of Eden.
Okay, yeah.
But I was introduced to Working at college. My tutor, Chris Kruker, is a massive sort of Working fan.
Yes.
And he's American, is Chris, and he's originates from Iowa. And he came over to Hull University to study drama and the musical theatre.
Yeah.
And he was talking to me about his dissertation that he'd written on Chorus Line. A really, really, really clever guy that you can sit and have a conversation with musicals about all day long. And
we need to get him on.
That's another thing about Schwartz.
Yeah.
He's massive in America. Pre-Wicked. Massive.
Yeah.
Like Pippin is huge.
It's huge.
Huge in America. And... I'm just trying to think what else he did. The score for Prince of Egypt, of course. How could we forget that?
One of the most beautiful musical films ever. And I haven't yet seen the stage show, but I can imagine what a spectacle it is.
Oh,
the
now
music
you see,
is just astonishing.
You're going to hate me because I did see the Prince of Egypt stage show.
Were you not a fan?
No, I did. I adored
you loved it?
It's
Okay.
just every time I listen to that, yes, I've seen that. And yes, I've done that. But... That's what I do. People go to watch football matches or ice hockey teams or whatever.
We don't like those people.
I go to we do like those people.
I don't.
But I spend my money on going to the theatre, and that's what I do.
That's why we're friends.
And that's why I have no money. Based, of course, Children of Eden on the creation story.
Indeed, the Book of Genesis.
And the character of God is known to us as the Father.
Yeah.
That's right. And I love how he bursts into the scene at the beginning of each act and just says, the Lord said, let there be, bam, show starts. What an opener.
Gosh.
And so it begins. You love this score, don't you?
Now I do. So I haven't seen this show because I only discovered this during lockdown because I teach some singing lessons, and one of the musical theatre syllabuses I go off had they've got songbooks with all the appropriate songs you can sing in, and I opened it up one day with a student who were working on a particular grade, and we sort of turned onto this page and we just said, oh, Children of Eden from Children of Eden, never heard it, should we give it a go? Played it through. And we both just had to sit there afterwards. It's like ready through a couple of minutes of just not saying anything, and we were just like, "This is beautiful.
Yes,
this is beautiful."
That's Schwartz's scores in a nutshell.
Yeah,
beautiful.
And then from that, I just went on this massive I need to find out as much as I get. So I've watched bootlegs and bits like that, but I haven't watched it live, and I really, really want to. It's just such a beautiful score, and also, you know how you said obviously it's based on the Book of Genesis, like you said. But it's not, is it? It's not about religion. It's about family.
Family and hope.
And hope and sort of relationships, and especially that sort of parental-child relationship and
so the Genesis creation story then is more like a stimulus for the proceedings.
Exactly.
Act 1 being the story of Cain and Abel, of course. And then Act 2 is when the drama starts. It's Noah and the Great Flood.
Yeah.
You know, it's just incredible. And I feel Schwartz gets a bad rep. And
really?
Yes, because his critics are always sort of complimenting his scores.
Yeah.
But as shows, they don't think they gel and work. Obviously, Wicked is the exception to that.
Yeah.
And they don't think that it works as a musical. A prime example of that is the songs or the tunes from Godspell.
Oh.
Godspell is great as a score to listen to.
But just
as
not
a
with
musical,
the narrative.
Does it work? Does it gel?
I see what
and
you
there are a
mean.
lot of similarities between Godspell and Children of Eden.
Yes, yeah.
But I adore the songs in Children of Eden.
So good.
A World Without You.
Yeah.
Wasteland.
And the hardest part of love is the letting go.
Oh, breathtaking.
It's just, he manages to just get you right there, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And
it's so clever. So
It's
clever,
so clever.
in his music and his lyrics, of course. For me, it's the title track.
Yeah.
The title track is just...
It's...
gets you there, doesn't it?
Well, the fact that... and like having to now... so that is the song that sort of is on the syllabus that I teach. And so it's amazing when you're teaching someone a song that is deliberately going to be out of context, in an exam or in a concert or something like that. Because you have to be able to say, well, you have to bring the context. You have to kind of let the audience know where we are. And of course, for Eve... So this is it's the Act 1 closer, isn't it?
Yeah, closer to the first half.
And it's essentially, as we've already said, it's going to be the end of the Adam, Eve, Cain and Abel story
section. Yeah.
And so it's like she's at the end of her life, and she's kind of asking her future ancestors to just be mindful and to remember that they're just human, and it's just It's so much to play with, and like every time you perform it, it can be slightly different, which I love in a song. I love in a musical.
Lost in the Wilderness, I have to just...
That's my favourite one.
Stop. Yeah.
Lost in the Wilderness.
I knew this would happen. So before we started recording, you just whispered to me how Lost in the Wilderness was your favourite musical theatre song of all time,
potentially ever.
And I said, what? That is a bold statement. And you said to me, oh, that's today. Yesterday it was something different, and tomorrow it'll be something different again. But
it may still be
right now, Lost in the Wilderness is a great tune. And if you've not listened to the soundtrack, give it a go. It is phenomenal. And Prince of Egypt, also based on the Genesis story. Are we seeing a link here? Because that's the story of Moses.
Well, the thing I like is that, in fact, because I was able to go down a bit of a rabbit hole when I was doing my research for this one, and I found a forum where I believe it was university or college level students in America were writing these open letters to Stephen, my good pal Stephen, and that he was giving these public replies, and they were all about Children of Eden. Maybe they were folks, they were studying it that time or something, and in his open responses, he was saying very much we weren't planning on writing a religious play. It's not about that. Yes, it has that as a setting, and I feel this is the same with the Prince of Egypt. And with Godspell. That of course, yes, that's kind of the main plot, the premise, but actually it's about the humanity, and it's about the emotions, and it's about I can't really say a different word for it, for the humanity of those words coming out of it.
On that, Stephen Schwartz, not that I know him personally, but comes across as such a humble guy. I was in a production for the 2017 City of Culture thing called The Baker's Wife.
Oh,
and Stephen Schwartz wrote to the cast.
Are you joking?
Oh my goodness, do you not know this?
I don't know
I'm going to send you the picture, you can share it on the socials. Obviously, The Baker's Wife, another Stephen Schwartz musical, but he wrote to the cast saying, I hear you're putting on Baker's Wife. I'd like to wish the cast and crew the best.
That's really nice.
Success for the showrun. Isn't that brilliant?
What a sweet guy.
And I'm so glad that I know he's bringing it more into the mainstream, but he's absolutely struck gold with Wicked, hasn't he?
Oh,
and I feel that's the show that's made him.
I don't have the stats, but I presume Wicked's like one of the top ones,
it's
isn't it?
The box office takings. Yeah. Absolutely, and I'm so looking forward to the movie. I know I've mentioned that before, and we won't dwell on Wicked because we will come to that.
No, I'm very excited.
I promise.
Well, we're waiting until Wicked movies come out to then do the show, aren't we?
Oh, that's great. That's perfect timing.
Perfect.
And I don't want to get preachy here, but isn't it testament to those the
Old Testament or the New Testament?
But to those wonderfully colourful stories in the Bible that so many shows have been based on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, ultimately, they're moral stories buried in there, aren't they? And life lessons. So I think no matter what religion you are, there's always something to take away. You don't need to feel that it's like a Christian show or anything like that.
No, because it isn't. But it's there as it's going to be based on something, right?
Absolutely,
and that's what it is.
Yeah.
Perhaps why Wicked was has done so well. Yeah. Because most of his other works are
have got those connotations in.
Are already conceived, and Wicked more or less sticks out. That's based on the Gregory Maguire. Is he Maguire?
Ooh, I don't know.
The original novel.
The original novel.
That's for another day. Wicked is for another podcast.
Well, and again, of course, we will move away from Wicked, but the sort of big things there is, preconceptions and discrimination and things like that, and so it's always these morals and these and themes that we need to learn from and life lessons. And he's just got
almost fable-like.
Yes, exactly. He's a musical fabulist. I don't know if that's a word, but let's
fabulous.
Fabulous. Absolutely. Oh, dearie me. I didn't realise until looking into this one that the show, and in fact, it made me think of Lloyd Webber's Joseph a little bit.
Of course.
It was originally written for a high school theatre camp.
Theatre company.
Theatre
camp, yes.
In Illinois.
Because that's massive, isn't it? This sort of summer musical theatre camps in America, in the States.
Absolutely. And it was very much like early work. It had a different name. I don't know if I wrote it down. No, I didn't. But it was done like that, and then they kind of came back to it slightly later, and he and the writers sort of revised it and made it into this full-length musical, which we now know today. But a lot of the original numbers were in some early form, kind of thing. So Lost in the Wilderness and Ain't It Good and stuff. I love Ain't It Good. Ain't It Good? Just down the road.
Yeah,
so
I love it too.
So
I love also how all your notes are there, strategically planned out on an iPad. And you said to me earlier, I love your notebook. Is that shorthand? I said, no, it's ADHD. It is just, if you could see mine, I'm going to just hold it up to the camera here just so you can see.
Dear.
All that. It's literally like a spider has literally scrawled across the page. But it works for me. Yeah. So you do you, hon, I'll do me.
Well, there we go.
I have a spreadsheet phobia. I've never ever used a spreadsheet in my life. I know it's not a spreadsheet. It's not quite that far, but it's very organised. Yeah. Whereas mine is you'll often find me doing this kind of thing.
Well, let's have a sip of our forbidden fruit, shall we?
Let's do it. Forbidden fruit.
Forbidden fruit. I've got two things to ask you.
It is strong, though. I don't know how you can't think that is.
That's just fruit juice, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. I've got a couple of things to ask you.
Yes.
So the first one is, have you seen it live yourself? Have you not?
I haven't.
Oh. Shall we go and see it?
Let's go and find a production.
Let's go and put it on. Let's put it on.
Let's go to Illinois and put it on.
Okay, yeah.
If we were to put it on?
Yeah.
Where would we set it? I'd like it set in a church.
Well, yeah.
Wouldn't that be good? With some mood lighting?
Oh, God. That would actually be beautiful.
Although, I'm talking like an oldie, worldy, traditional type church.
Yeah. The type where if you've got little flags that they're just sort of moving on their own with no wind and everything like that. Yeah. No, quite
zoom in on the stained windows.
Oh, yes. Stained with what?
I'd have it. Thank you, dear. You're bringing the tone down, SLP. But my dream production would be in a church.
Yeah.
An oldie, worldy, tiny church where the audience are sat there turn the heating on. Yeah. We can't even afford a new roof.
We're open to the elements.
Yes.
No, God, I'd love that. And just, well, so I didn't realise when they did the reworking after the Illinois thing and they came back and rewrote it, that's when, or am I thinking a bit too early? Later into the process than you might think, they came up with the idea of the double casting. So in the first half, of course, we've already said that it's Eve, it's Adam, it's Cain and Abel, blah, blah, blah.
And then it's
all
the blood
those
story.
People then play their kind of
counterpart?
Counterpart. I was going to say opponent. That's not the right word. Yeah, so you've got Noah, you've got Mama Noah, you've got
Shem, Ham, whatever they're called.
All of those.
Yeah, absolutely that.
Yeah, and I really like that.
Yes,
as
me
a concept
too.
Because it just sort of, especially when there's the fight that breaks out in the second half, to sort of deliberately reflect where Cain and Abel then fight in the first one.
Absolutely.
You need those parallels, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely that. And you gave me a little bit of Easter egg fact that I've not heard before. When you were, because we were talking about cats in a previous podcast.
Oh, yes.
Ken Page was the father.
Ken Page,
I didn't know this. Did he originate the role? Or?
In the West End.
Oh, wow.
So he originated father in the West End there, and of course in Cats he was Old Deuteronomy, and in Starlight Express he was
Papa. Papa's Blues.
He's just so freaking wonderful, isn't he? Versatile, agile, all of the writers. That's really good.
Thank you, yeah.
I don't know what this was.
I don't know what
but
bit
I
of
like
jazz hands. Why not?
Jazz elbows, it looked like.
Jazz elbows. What is that, actually? What is
I don't really know.
Pinocchio the musical.
Oh, man, it's just such a... I really, really want to do the show. In fact, yeah, if you were doing the show, should we see Father? Should we see Father?
Do you think it should be a voice, you mean?
That's kind of what I'm considering.
A
little bit. I don't know whether that would then completely detach it. Because, of course, he wants you to be able to relate to you
on some way. Father looks in on the action. Yeah. I do like that.
Okay.
Maybe he's, I don't know if I like the idea of a sort of hierarchy where he's sat above looking down.
Maybe like in at least
almost
a separate...
as a silent role where he's looking in at what's going on.
So we know that he's there.
Yes.
But they only see of him, they don't see him.
I like that. I don't know whether a voiceover kind of detracts him away from the message of the story.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it religiously, people would think that they like the idea of God always being, or Father always being present in the moment there.
Yeah.
I don't know whether a voiceover kind of detaches. I don't know.
I think it would, but I wonder if
it's worth exploring.
The element of us, is it dramatic irony? Not exactly, but of us being able to see him and being able to see them, but them not being able to see him.
Yes.
That's the sort of thing I'd be interested in playing with and seeing. But I don't really know.
It's worth workshopping, isn't it? And just like trying to find it. In fact, that's really exciting. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
Drinks presents Children of Eden. Das Musical.
Yeah, Das Musical. Oh man. With Lost in the Wilderness, which is still my favourite song right now. When I was first listening to it, you know how sometimes you're listening through to a song and you can sort of take it or leave it, and other songs you listen through and you're just like, and you lose like where you are.
Yeah.
I had one of those moments.
Yeah.
And so I need to make sure that I never play it when I'm driving because I get way too into it and I'm just like, lost in the world. Oh, whoops.
That's why I don't drive a car.
Well, there you go.
I'm constantly listening. My life is a musical theatre soundtrack. I'm constantly listening to a show and I get lost in it.
Yeah.
And that's not escapism, friends. That's not escapism.
No.
I'm not escaping. I'm investing. But I get a lot of that with Schwartz musicals where I am fully invested in the story.
Yeah.
And that's what singers are doing.
At telling the story.
The storytellers.
It is.
And it is to do with the writing, but performers are literally telling the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is beautiful. My other question was going to be, and in fact we might come on to this in our next episode as well, why in musical theatre does jazz denote terrible things? So like in pursuit of excellence, and it's temptation, the devil, the snake. Why is jazz the bit? I mean, I can kind of understand it, but I kind of want an answer as well. It kind
of goes back to those.
It's like, oh, this is naughty. We shouldn't be doing the snazzy jazzy jazz.
If you look at it in its broader sort of historical context, that kind of takes it back to those. Bluesy, smoky, dirty, dingy Louisiana juice joints.
Yes.
You know, where it was illegal to be drinking and everything was kind of like underground and underplayed. It's naughty, it's risky. It is. Wah, wah, wah. You know,
wide vibrato.
It's got to be. Yeah. It's dirty, it's dingy, it's gritty.
So therefore that's
the devil. They've taken that as... Yeah, and that's progressed into what we have today in that kind of jazzy, bluesy way, which kind of has the undertones of something not nice, but intriguing.
And enticing.
Enticing, that's nice.
I do like it. I do it. It's a very enticing show. Oh, dear.
Should it be enticing, though? Should you bite the apple?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck it. Bite an apple. If you're going to bite an apple, bite an apple.
Bite the apple, press the button.
As long as you don't do it during the show, you get a full picnic.
And then chuck it over your shoulder.
Sweets. Why do people bring sweets into the theatre with rapping? You know, what is that about?
I don't know.
Might as well bring a fucking continental buffet.
You know what I hate as well in cinemas? When you sort of, and I accept popcorn, I think that's nice and it's a classic, and you're sitting there with your popcorn and someone comes in laden with hot dogs, nachos, chips.
The largest
just
cola.
Just like, bloody hell. Just go for dinner afterwards, you know what I mean?
Or
you can sit for a couple of hours.
Nando's before Odeon.
Love a cheeky Nando's.
Cheeky Nando's before the Odeon with those reclining seats. I'd be asleep as soon as the credits.
You would.
The opening credits. But yeah. Unless it was a musical.
In which case you're alive, alert, awake, all of it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No. It's just, it's such a beautiful show. I'm really happy that we're talking about this one.
Yes, you've been wanting to talk about this for a long time.
I have.
I know how much you enjoyed the score, and I'm glad we've...
Yeah, since in discovering the Children of Eden over lockdown, I then have got like a couple of Schwartz CDs and just been really upping my... I knew a lot of his other stuff anyway, but not Wicked that's included. Sorry, that makes sense if I don't like Wicked. I do. But his other earlier works, and I've just really... It's really enhanced my
testament.
fandness.
I mean, listeners and watchers, because we've had a few drinks now, have absolutely learnt nothing about Children of Eden from us two talking, because we're just ranting.
Yeah.
But
in the best way possible.
Yeah, in the best way possible. But if you take anything away from this and you're not familiar with Children of Eden, please listen to the soundtrack.
Please.
Have a listen to the score. You're going to absolutely love it as much as we both do.
It's just so good.
It's amazing. Cheers.
Cheers. Forbidden fruit.
Forbidden fruit. Bye-bye.